10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
You are now tuned.
If you have a request or shout out, hit us up live in the studio. And now your host.
A very good morning to all of our awesome and fantastic listeners across the globe. We are your host, Nico Barnard, and beside me, Shantae Raz, and you are tuned in on Let's Talk Showbiz, a world of entertainment.
Yes, a warm welcome to all our new and continuous supporters. Welcome to a brand new, exciting episode of your favorite show, Let's Talk Showbiz. Brought to you live every Friday here on brandlive.co.za, and we are tuned in from our brand new studios here in Braamfontein.
That is correct. And also a happy International Women's Day to everyone. We're officially part of the Keystone Productions and Atlas Studio families now, right opposite 44 Stanley here in Braamfontein, an awesome, quaint little artistic place with a lot of soul and heart. Make sure you come and visit if you haven't been there before. So, for those of y'all that were too busy to tune in last week, Shantae, I think it's time that you recap these people on the awesomeness that they missed.
Yeah, so last week during the third episode of Let's Talk Showbiz, we were graced and honored to do a telephonic interview with the poetry queen, Puno Solesho, someone who is inspiring others through her work and art and the Spoken Sessions platforms that she frequently hosts. In case you missed it, you can go to our YouTube channel and catch up on any of our podcasts up to date. And also, last night was actually the Spoken Sessions for the year.
Oh, that's awesome, yeah.
Which we'll mention soon.
Unfortunately, I couldn't attend, but I believe you were there, so we'll talk about all of that awesomeness just now. For everyone out there, be sure to follow our Facebook page at Let's Talk Showbiz, where we post updates and news on every episode to keep you in the loop with what's lit in the industry. We're also live on Instagram and Twitter at Let's Talk Showbiz, and we will be launching our brand new website soon.
Yeah. And furthermore, make sure you tag us at Let's Talk Showbiz in your post to share any new or upcoming events in the industry. We would love to hear from you, local and international.
Now that brings us officially to our first segment of the show, What's Hot? A segment where we like to dive into the world of entertainment to look what's cooking up in the film, TV, music and theatre and all around industry, locally and internationally. Shantae, I believe that's your cue. Fire away.
And the winners go to South Africa's film and television talent and content producers once again descended upon the Sun City in the Northwest Province for this year's edition of the South African Film and Television Awards, SAFTAs, on the 1st and 2nd of March.
Now, the star-studded award show hosted by Metro FM duo Pearl Modiadi and Thomas Mashengana celebrated the country's film and television talent with winners decided on a panel of 250 judges walking away with the coveted Golden Horn in various categories.
Yes, popular telenova The River scooped 10 awards, making it the highest winning television production at the SAFTAs this year. We will post a link to the Screen Africa's recap of the 13th annual SAFTA Awards. Congratulations to all our fellow South Africans for their award-winning prizes.
Meanwhile, elsewhere, while Captain Marvel launches in South Africa cinemas, The Rapid Lion, the South African 2019 International Film Festival, is still landing the market theatre screens till Sunday, the 10th of March. So filmmakers, scriptwriters, and passionate film watchers, be sure to check that out.
Yeah. And the State Theatre is currently showing a national favourite in the Arena Theatre until the 31st of March. Woza Albert celebrates 41 years of protest theatre with more than 20 prestigious awards. And even more exciting news awaits on the 14th of March as the State Theatre launches a Woza Albert Masterclass with Brad Dixon Malele.
Ooh, awesome.
Yeah.
The world of theatre also has some epic musicals hitting Gauteng theatres, with the Joburg Theatre presenting Suzical Jr. till the 28th of April. You can spot us there this Saturday at the show.
And don't forget the thrilling Sondheim classic Into the Woods at the Pieter Toerien Theatre in Monte Casino. We will also be hitting the scene there on Sunday. Exciting! Make sure you come and join us for a great experience of musicality at the Monte Casino.
The second edition, first Thursdays at 01 Central, hit Pretoria last night, merged with Molo Molo's famous selection of short film screenings and also introduced a poetry favorite, the Spoken Sessions to the Scene.
Shout out to Puno Solesho.
The evening brought a collaboration of creatives coming together, showcasing their talents and sharing knowledge of art, poetry, and music. Cold brewskis, delicious munchies, and local arts and craft. All you need is a camping chair and maybe a blanket.
Yes, what an enjoyable night. Their slogan, come discover, engage, and connect, truly sums up their collaborative events. And it was lovely seeing Puna, who we interviewed last week as part of her spoken sessions lineup of the poets. And some of the lineup for the last evening's thing with the musicians included Wilhelmine Philomene and Kurt Ludwig Scrouder, which were phenomenal.
Yeah, so I believe you were there. Awesome event. Unfortunately, couldn't make it, but shout out to everyone. And we will be posting some pictures of the event over the weekend as well.
It was insane. So catch South Africa's poets and musicians performing in the heart of Pretoria every first Thursday, 012 Central. We'll be buzzing with arts, humans, food, and all kinds of creativity. Yeah, like humans.
And with St. Patrick's Day coming up on the 16th of March, there will be more music gigs popping up soon, one epic weekend after the other. Speaking of, also lined up on stage in the world of magic and illusion, Andre the Hypnotist will be demonstrating his famous hypnosis acts at the Monte Casino until the 24th of March at the Pieter Terrein. I'm very excited to be able to witness this Friday.
Yes, so Spataniku. We should start a name. Spataniku.
like those comical ads that we have to spot this stuff.
Yeah, man. This is Spataniku. Yes, what a hypnotizing act. And while the international scope and all their die-hard fans are celebrating the reuniting of the Jonas Brothers band, and Gauteng's locals are rushing to the Irene Village Mall to win their share of Ed Sheeran concert ticket giveaways. Da-da-da-dum.
So yeah, just go. I believe you have to rush over there and take selfies at the thing and Instagram post.
Yeah,
and
so
all that.
if I understand correctly, there's a selfie stand or banner, and you have to post according to this. So just find that on Facebook, and I think
and
there's
maybe
also
you'll win some tickets. This weekend is also packed with local music events, diving right into one of the South Africa's best-selling platinum album band groups, the Mango Groove's 30th anniversary concert. It will be showing at Monte Casino tonight on the 8th and the 9th of March.
Mango.
Lemon.
Fruit cocktail. It's such an epic name. I love it. Yeah, the Mango Groove. And finally, also in Gauteng, the African Beer Emporium and Afridam presents 2019's first Africa Comes Alive event, where live music and art meet. This is a family event for the books, and it is to be celebrated and celebrates the art, but not also just the art, but also the South African culture. And that's all, folks. Another fantastic session of What's Hot locally and internationally, brought to you live proudly by Let's Talk Showbiz.
Be sure to keep up to speed with your weekly dose of news and entertainment right here on Let's Talk Showbiz every Friday from 11:30 till 12:30.
Yeah.
You're also welcome to tag us at Let's Talk Showbiz on any media regarding industry gems and upcoming events.
Yes, or invite us to your shows, premieres, events, or productions, as we constantly try to promote local talent in South Africa, as well as internationally. Also, feel free to tag us in your Instagram stories or posts to feature on our pages and Instagram feeds. Whether you are attending a show or part of a show, we would love to hear from you all the same.
Now, speaking of local talent, we will be taking a short break, and when we return, we will be talking to the awesome human, a singer, a songwriter with a unique approach to fascinating guitar styling. It's our favorite segment of the show with guest Werner, Bekker in studio, so stay tuned, we'll be right back.
Harnessing the power of talk radio. Brandlive.co.za.
Brandlive.co.za is Thought Leadership Radio. It's a new way to communicate your brand, your value, and what you think about your industry. Be a leader.
You'll never stop at one. I'll take you all on.
Be a voice.
I have a dream.
And we will help you shape your industry. Our radio platform is for thought leaders who want to share insights, businesses who want to create value for their databases, organizations who want to control their message, for those that drive change. Make your brand come alive on brandlife.co.za, harnessing the power of talk radio.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Showbiz, our 4th episode of our brand new season right here on brandlife.co.za. Today, joining us in the studio here in Braamfontein, we have an epically awesome dude, Werner Bekker.
Yes, some guitar styling lined up for you.
Yes, he's got some
Some
very
styling
good.
of guitar,
got
styling.
very good
What?
guitar.
A guitar styling salon. I think it's a new business idea. We have to do this. Now, for those of you who know the name, kudos. Those who don't, let's give a quick but brief bio of Mr. Bekker. Werner is a full-time musician with over 6 years of experience in songwriting, composition, performance, and teaching music. Growing up with creative parents, Werner joined his father on the road at an early age. Music was ingrained into his existence. He went on to study at the campus of the Performing Arts and has since written music for various artists as well as for film.
Inspired by the likes of Damien Rice, Jack Johnson, Jason Mars, and
Yeah.
Ben Howard,
Cool.
Werner is known for his unique storytelling through acoustic-driven folk pop. In 2015, Werner independently recorded and released his debut EP, Lilith. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Is that how you pronounce it?
Lilith. It's
Lilith. Lilith. That's so
it's
cool.
an Elvish word.
I love it. I think this is my favorite episode
It means
ever.
laughter.
Ah, okay. Mango group.
Mango.
And that was followed by a Northern Summer in 2017. The same year, his internationally acclaimed single Run was selected to be part of Balcony TV compilation CD. Werner has shared the stage with major SA acts including Short Straw, Man as Machine, The Parlotones, Desmond and the Tutus, Rubber Duck, and many more.
In February 2018, he released his single Alive, Alive, followed by I'm With You in June, garnering the attention of the industry heavyweights. Werner performed at top festival lineups such as Splashy Fen, Millie Pop, Lush, Oppikoppie, White Mountain Festival, and the Smoky Dragon Festival.
Now this year, Werner will release his long-awaited professional recorded EP, Parts of a Broken Man, following latest single, Open Spoken, which we are very excited to share with our listeners here on Let's Talk Showbiz later. The song is not only one of Werner's new singles for his upcoming EP, Parts of a Broken Man, but the song was also recorded and produced in studio by legends Dion Volskink and Ruan Graaf, and captures the distinct sound the songwriter has so longed to achieve. Wowza!
Wowza times two. Welcome, Werner, to Let's Talk Showbiz.
Thank you. It's awesome being here.
It's lovely to have you. You have come a long way and well done on all your achievements. So tell us, where and how did it all start for you?
I can't really remember. So my dad, as you guys mentioned, my
Just
dad was a
popped out.
performer, and apparently before I could speak, I was singing. So I can't really put a time and date to it.
What did I say in the previous inning? You were singing in the womb.
Exactly. Apparently we would go on road trips for my dad, and then I'd get irritated as young babies do, and then they'd put on the radio, and I just kind of hum along before I could even talk. So yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. I love your artisticness, if that's a word.
Artisticness.
But you know that you have surrounding your work and your songs. It's incredible. I think music always has been something that you were passionate about, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So was there a definite moment, in your whilst you were brought up, was there a defining moment that you decided this is the career that you wanted to pursue, or has it just always been a part of you?
And in a way, I feel like I've always known that this was what I was gonna do. But in another sense, when I was 12 years old, my sister picked up a guitar and asked my dad for lessons, and then I got really jealous, and so I asked him for lessons as well. And that's kind of the point I decided. Okay, cool, it's time to start.
Cool. And obviously, growing up, we always given the choice of pursuing multiple careers.
Yeah.
What made you to officially stick to your gut and still do the music?
So
career?
I was in grade 11, and that's that year where you I have to decide what I'm going to do now. And my parents were pushing for me to do engineering or architecture or something, because my dad was in the industry. He knew how hard it was. And so then I just wrote a song to ask them to please stop it and just allow me to
What an awesome
do
way
music.
to communicate with your parents. I want to do this for the rest of my life.
Exactly, yeah. So that's kind of how it happened, and then my mum was crying and going, okay, oh cool, you can do music.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
That's brilliant. Okay, so growing up, how was your childhood experience? Because you grew up with two musically influenced parents and traveled with your dad since a young age.
It was awesome. So I suppose there are times where you feel oh, I wish I could have just stayed in the same town for the rest of my life, or I wish I could have just been in the same school. But I don't know, those regrets that you have about wanting to stay in the same place are so stupid, because I've seen so much of South Africa because of that, and it was so awesome, like growing up and seeing bands like Polisikar live when they were in their prime. Not that they're not anymore, but yeah, it was just amazing. This incredible experience of art all around you, and it's your whole life, and that's what you grow up with. That's why I was so like confused when my parents wanted me to study engineering.
Yeah, you were like,
it's like you trained me to be a musician.
I was raised on this. Now you wanna like
Exactly.
But I think still your parents must be so proud to see what you have achieved thus far.
I'm sure they are.
So, how did you develop your guitar technique? Was it inspired by specific musicians, or did you just kind of
no,
rebel?
it was completely inspired by Ben Howard.
awesome.
Yeah, so I saw him play like this, and I was like, yo, I have to learn the song. And then after that, I just decided that I needed to write a couple of songs like it. And then I kind of found my own way of playing it similarly.
Okay, I have to do this. Can you give us a brief demonstration?
Yes,
please?
I can. So this is that song Run that's on the Balcony TV compilation album.
Wow.
Insensitive boys are hard to find these days, and I know I'm one of them. I know I'm one of them, and I know you're alone and getting lonely each day. But I know I'm not him. I know I'm not him. I'm not him.
Awesome.
Everyone must just quit now. We can all go home. You can take the next South
That was-
African Grammy.
That was amazing. Wow. Yeah.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
So you studied at the campus of performing arts and you wrote songs for many artists. Tell us more about that.
All right, so there have been a couple of independent artists that have come to me just asking to write a song. The best one in my experience was there was this lady who just came to me for lessons, and she asked me, can you play me a song, just to like kind of check if I knew what I was talking about. And then I played her one of my own songs, and then she like freaked out and said, I want to buy your song. And I was like, nope. I'm not. You're not buying my song, but I'll write you a song. And then she started going off on this story about her sister being a director for an independent movie, and how they needed someone to do the soundtrack. And so at first I thought, yeah, sure, you know,
Everyone's
whatever,
sister.
yeah, everyone's sister does that. And I gave them an invoice, and they paid the deposit, and then I wrote a small soundtrack for an independent film. It was awesome.
Oh, that's cool. That's awesome.
Wow.
It's amazing how it just happens like that. You don't
Yeah.
even plan on it. It just
But
kinda
I know the feeling. It's like you got the opportunity. You was like, yeah, it's cool. And then when the money was in, you're like, this just got real.
Yeah, and you like really stressed at that point because you're thinking, yeah, sure, whatever. Like, let's charge them this much. They won't. They won't. And then they go for it, and then you're like, okay, now I've got to deliver.
Just go.
Exactly. Okay, tell us and the listeners more about your previous singles and the awesome opportunities that you've had, like being featured on Balcony TV, the CD, for instance.
Okay, cool. So the first EP that I recorded, well, the first two EPs were recorded at my house because, like any other artist, you start from the bottom. And loads of people take those off the internet when they have better quality stuff, but I've decided to keep them on there because for me, like, I would have
That's
loved.
where you started.
Yeah, and I would have loved to see my influences and them at that point in their career. I would have loved to see Ed Sheeran, for instance,
Where he started.
where
Yeah,
he
yeah,
started. And there just isn't footage of him when he started, so I'm keeping those on there. And then the
I like that
opportunities.
approach. I think it's awesome.
Yeah, like I still cringe when I listen to them, but it's good. Like it keeps it keeps you humble. I
It
think.
reminds you. I think it reminds you to know that's where I started.
Definitely.
It I think to a certain degree also reminds you that's where I started, and it could also contribute to you staying humble and true to yourself.
Totally, exactly.
But
yeah.
I get what you're saying. For aspiring artists, it can be some of your most influential videos.
Definitely,
Not the-
and for me, like the oldest videos that I get of the songwriters that I follow and that I adore, like
They
are
teach you
usually the
more.
ones that I love the most. So, yeah, for me that was a big reason for doing that. And then Balcony TV was so awesome. I mean, it was an awesome opportunity. A year before I played the Run one, I played one with my band, which we like. It was the same music, just with a full band sound.
Awesome.
And so they've really taken me places. They've had these events at the Good Luck Bar where they
I
have
love
so
the Good
many.
Luck Bar.
Yeah, they've got like
So cool.
these amazing acts coming on stage, and so I've been to a couple of those, and they've been instrumental to where I'm at now.
That's super awesome. And then so you were on the show, and then they actually featured you in their CD.
Yeah,
which is
yeah,
so
exactly.
cool. Now you performed also with some awesome acts like Short Straw and Man as the Machine, the Parletons, Desmond and the Tutus, Rubber Duck. The list goes on. How was those experiences for you?
It's awesome. It's really intimidating as well at the same time, and like.
You heard it here first.
Like I've performed with like so many of those people more than once, but some of them I still haven't met because I'm just too nervous, you know. I still feel like a fanboy.
I get you.
I still feel like a fanboy because I'm not Short Straw. I'm just this like independent local South African folk guy, and they're Short Straw, you know. So
I think
it's intimidating.
But I think it's so awesome that
I feel like they probably also feel that way about each other.
yeah. But you know what I
And
love?
I wouldn't be surprised if they felt that way about you.
No.
But you know what I love about what I'm hearing? Like, you know what I love about you is the fact that you got the opportunity to share the stage with Short Straw and the Parletons, yet you were still like, oh, I'm just like independent, which is so cool. It's so humble of him. It's so awesome. I think that's
man.
great. That's absolutely great, because I think it's an achievement for you to have been able to step on the stage with these amazing people. It just also proves to you that you're good at what you're doing, you know?
Thank you.
Would you say that performing with these people have allowed you to open doors and opportunities more?
Definitely. I mean, and I've realized that over the last year more than anything. People who have, for instance, helped me get onto platforms like your platform right now, like I've met through the industry by just gigging. And so loads of my peers, or like people that I teach that are turning 19, 20 now, who want to be professional musicians, come to me asking what to do. And I don't really have an answer for them. The biggest thing I can tell them is to like perform as much as you can. I remember when I first started, I was performing 5 nights a week if I could. And so in a year it would be 250 shows. And they were bad shows in all honesty. So most of them I wouldn't get paid for, and most of them people wouldn't even really listen. But through those shows you meet one person here, one person there, and then eventually you meet the right people to kind of punch your music.
Yeah, that's
And I think it also served as rehearsal for you for the greater gigs coming later.
Totally. Whenever, like still to this day, when I pitch up at a gig and there's no one there, because it happens, then I see it as a rehearsal. Like, and you can't just say, "Oh no, there's no one here, I'm not going to perform." You've got to go on stage and do your thing. That's your job.
yeah, that's amazing.
We used to have, I'm not going to mention where, but one of our educational facilities used to say this thing of whether there are 1,000 people in the audience or there's 2, you treat the audience as if it is 1,000.
Totally.
Yeah, I think 'cause at the end of the day, even if it's just 2, those 2 people still paid. You know, so you have to give them a performance that you would have
But
given.
imagine you were those 2, and this person's just rocking out just for you.
That'd be cool.
I mean,
It
then
would
you
be
wouldn't care for
amazing.
the big concert. You'd just be like, damn.
Exactly.
really?
It's like those intimate concerts that you always see online. And like, you know, you go, oh, I wish I was at that intimate concert where there were like 20 people
Right.
looking at this person. That's what you
Not
people
some
wanna
drunk
see, you know?
person trying to pass you.
But I'm glad that you're actually like talking. I'm glad that you're talking about, you know, where you started, and it wasn't just all, because sometimes people that's not in the industry, they don't know that they think sometimes it happens overnight and
Yeah.
it's easy. Where the struggle is actually real. You know, it doesn't happen overnight. It takes years and a lot of work. And I'm glad that you're mentioning that, because it just shows that through humble beginnings, you just persevered and you kept on pushing. Didn't matter how it was, and even how bad it was in your opinion in the beginning. You just kept on pushing, and look where you are today with these great accomplishments. Well done.
Thank you.
Yes, that's amazing. So to all our listeners out there, we are going to take a short break, and in the break we will be listening to Werner's new single, Open Spoken. Yes, we will be delving more into the new single and his upcoming album after the break.
Guess who got brands talking? Brandlive.co.za.
I was broken, I was lost. Open spoken, paid the cost. Lost and found you in the dark. Blind with patience in our hearts. And have I lost and found you again? Or have you always been an old friend? These ties were severed prematurely. This was never the way it should be. You're open, spoken, spoken, open. Speaking 'cause your mind is free. You're open, spoken, spoken, open. I've just gotta let it be. You're open, spoken, spoken, open. Speaking 'cause your mind is free. Open, spoken, spoken, open. I've just gotta let it be. Oh, you're open, spoken. She broke me, I broke her. Mad deliverance, mad allure. Evil gestures, human thoughts. Blind with patience in our hearts. And have I lost and found you again? Or have you always been an old friend? These ties were severed prematurely. This was never the way it should be. You're open, spoken, spoken, open. Speaking 'cause your mind is free. You're open, spoken, spoken, open. I've just gotta let it be. You're open, spoken, spoken, open. Speaking 'cause your mind is free. Open, spoken, spoken, open. I've just gotta let it be. Oh, you're open, spoken. You're open, spoken.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Showbiz. If you just tuned in, we are live here at the studios in Braamfontein for our 4th episode of Season 2. And in studio with us, we have Werner Bekker, a man of many talents, musically skilled.
Yeah.
Yes. And he's got a killer voice.
Yes.
Okay, so Werner, your new single is a beautiful amalgamation of mixed emotions arranged with melodic perfection. That is what you said. Tell us more about that. Tell us more about your new song.
All right, so that's not what I said. That's what my PR said.
That's what the PR said. That's what
I mean, they embellish everything.
Oh.
It's a pretty nice song.
Or,
I like
or
the
they're
song.
just telling the truth and they have to describe it in one sentence, and it's like amalgamation,
Hopefully.
melodic.
You should just go, stop it. I like it, do it more.
Exactly. Yeah. No, it's a cool song. Like it was one of those songs where I was kind of going through a phase of not writing a lot, and then my sister said this thing. She said she accidentally slipped and said the person was spoken open. So instead of saying they're open spoken, and so that kind of open spoken kind of triggered something in me, yeah, and I was not in a good space. I'd just come out of a relationship, and I'd been like off and on dating this girl, but she was like catfishing me. So like I'd never met her, but like I knew friends who knew her on like this is so intimate. I've never shared this with anyone like media wise. So yeah, but yeah, so I was like really confused by this girl, and eventually I realized that she was quite similar to the ex-girlfriend that I had. And so this whole song is about like kind of trying to find someone new in your life and then discovering someone new, but just to realize they're exactly the same as that.
Inspiration. Okay.
Sure.
Right.
You said that Open Spoken was a bit a tough cookie to crack. Why is that?
So I initially just wrote it. It just kind of blurted out. But it was very generic in sound with guitar and that sort of thing. And then we went to studio Dion and Ruan. They just really helped me to flesh out the song. So in the end, I didn't record much of my own guitar playing in that song, which is something new to me. No, but it's awesome because Ruan is like this guitar genius. And he created this awesome poppy kind of riff. And so in the chorus, I join him on the acoustic. So it's a more electric sound. And in the end, we kind of molded the song after like 4 or 5 renditions of Open Spoken. And we decided on this one that you're going to hear now.
Oh, awesome.
That we heard.
Oh, you heard.
Well, I think what I love about this song is that it speaks a universal language. Now, something like what we mentioned earlier in the bio is that this song has been something that you've wanted to do for a very long time, correct? Tell us more. Okay, you briefly mentioned, what was the inspiration behind it, but was there something, what was the key inspiration and continuous inspiration for doing this specific song?
So for me, this song is basically trying something new, trying something new lyrically as well as melodically and harmonically. For me, it's a bit of a step away from what I usually do, and so I think that was the goal with this song.
Melodically, that's the word.
Melodic.
That's the word.
Mouth troll. Radio troll. Open Spoken is now available for download, and the song heralds the release of Werner's new EP, Parts of a Broken Man, which is set for release on the 22nd of March 2019. You also have your official launch event on the 29th of March at the Rumors Lounge.
Yes.
To all our listeners, you can find more details about Werner's EP launch on our Facebook page. Myself and Niku will be attending the launch, so make sure you catch us there. Tickets are 50 Rand, and we'll also feature guest artists such as The Great Yawn and Stones and Gold.
There's also a surprise guest artist, I must just mention.
Ooh, surprise.
Okay, so spot the Niku.
Spot the Nico and Shantae. Now to something more personal. Before our time runs out, let's get to know Werner a bit better. What would you say has been your biggest career highlight thus far?
Yo, that's such hard. People always ask that question. I never know how to
One
answer
of
it.
them?
There's just too many. There's lots of moments where you're like, wow, this is incredible. For instance, like, I think I have one every couple of months. This week, yesterday, I went to like a poetry evening in Melville. And it was just so great. We've been going there with friends every now and then. And I took my guitar with, and because it's a poetry evening, people just kind of keep quiet and listen to what you have to offer.
Right.
And that was one of my highlights. But if I backtrack 3 months before that, it was White Mountain Festival, which was just also like a sit-down audience, people just in tune. So like you have these recurring kind of highlights.
Yeah, because you cherish not just the big moments, but also the small little moments. You cherish those. Yeah, that's
exactly.
And I think what you just mentioned with the poetry night, something
It's a lot like spoken session.
yeah, that you were at last night.
Yeah, you should totally come with the next
That
time.
sounds like something I'd enjoy. It sounds like open spoken, so
Yeah.
spoken session.
Yeah.
So you should come and open spoken at spoken session.
What?
Hey.
I think that's an idea.
We'll speak to Puno. Okay, so
We would like to ask this question. Our listeners will be familiar with it, and simply because we love each and every guest's answer. It's amazing to hear how everyone we have in studio literally answers this different, from a different angle, with different backgrounds, and all are very successful, upcoming, and established in their right. And they take on the question quite differently. So, being a man of so many musical facets and skills, and having accomplished quite a stretch, tell us, how do you manage it all and still keep a balanced life, managing family and social aspects of your life, and leaving room to still be inspired yourself, despite what could come competitive or, the titled cutthroat industry or just the monotonous lifestyle? How do you keep it balanced?
I think it was important for me to find a different hobby. When I started out, music was my hobby, and now it's my job. And that changes it a lot, and it changes your life a lot in a good way and also in a bad way. So for me, I started building stuff. I started building instruments. I built a guitar last year, and I recently finished a ukulele.
Ukulele.
And yeah,
So is there going to be a song that's coming out soon with the ukulele?
Hopefully, we'll see. But yeah, so I think kind of finding things that keep you balanced and not just kind of become lopsided. I feel that that's a big metaphor for me in this whole thing, is that sometimes I've been struggling to write for the past 4 years, and it's because I become lopsided at times. And in those times where I achieve balance, the songs just kind of pour out. Whereas when I'm lopsided, then I just can't.
Lopsided. I like that word. And it's important for everyone to hear that, because I actually had a student ask yesterday, and they were like, they're struggling to manage everything, and I'm like, you're a first year student, you're already struggling. So it's good for them to hear,
we're all struggling together.
Yeah, and it's good for them to hear that it doesn't necessarily get easier. It gets more difficult, but you need to learn to manage better.
And you need to have something else to do. You need to have something else to focus on. You can't focus on one thing the whole. It's like watching TV the whole day long. You're gonna become very unhappy, or even hiking every day, all day. Eventually, it's not fun anymore.
Eventually, you're gonna like hiking anymore. It's like
so
when
it's something to fuel your passion that you have.
Exactly.
I can actually relate to that. It's like, when you want to study, then suddenly washing the dishes is so awesome.
Yeah. Well, I've never found washing the dishes awesome, but if you ever want to wash dishes, you know where I live. You can just.
I mean, or cleaning your room,
or like
or doing that
driving
project
to work.
you hate doing.
Totally, or driving to work and you hate being at work, but at least the drive there is better than work. So the drive
that
seems
makes
exciting.
it worth it.
You think it's scenic. No, but I get what you're saying. And
Then
also
it's
regarding your private life and your social life, can you give us some? Do you schedule it in? Do you just?
Yeah, well, I'm really bad with family. I'm a bit of a loner with my family. I love my sister. My sister and I are best friends, but I think that my mum and my dad miss me a lot, and sure. I know I need to make more time for them. So that's something that I need to work on. With regards to my personal love life or whatever, I think the person that I'm with usually is someone who does appreciate and love music, and so we do tend to spend a lot of time together because we go to events together. We love both seeing other artists perform and performing together and writing together.
No,
so.
I think it's very important to have someone in your life. I think it's very important to have someone that supports you, that understands your industry, even if they're not in the industry, or even if they are in the industry. Sometimes there's a positive side if they're in the same industry, and sometimes there's a negative side to it. But I think at the end of the day, it's important to have someone in your life that understands you, that supports you, and that that there's going to be hard days, but that they're there for the good and the bad.
Definitely.
Definitely. And I can relate with the whole parents thing. We get so caught up in work, and it's difficult. I get you, don't worry. You think you want to make time, and you're like, okay, I'll go this weekend, and then something happens, and then it's like, okay, wait, I'll go next week, and then I get you. I get you.
Sweet.
So what advice would you give a young aspiring musician or writer?
Stay true to you. This is something that I keep running into, and people always ask me this question as well. It's one of those questions that people like to ask. I think for me, it's always been a big issue when you sound like someone else, because you're not true to yourself, or you don't believe in your own abilities to be creative. So just do you, and if people want to change you, take good criticism. And take some of it if you want to, and if you feel that your music or your art can benefit from it. But if you feel that it's going to steer you away from what you really want to achieve, then don't take that advice.
I mean, especially for someone like you who does such a unique technique on your guitar, and also you have I almost want to say a niche sound to your vocal quality.
It
as
is
well.
niche, yeah.
So that you probably people either love it or hate it. I assume.
Exactly, and you've got to learn to love the blows, because they're part of what makes you you. You're gonna
Yeah.
be hated if you
And
if
also
you
learn
don't
to
sound like
differentiate.
Rihanna, then you're probably not. People probably aren't gonna like you.
Yeah.
Not everyone.
But I think it's very important.
Rihanna.
But I think it's, you know what I always say? I always say you can't hate the experiences that shapes you. So you
No.
have to take the good and the bad.
Wow,
and the-
that's beautiful.
But I love what you said though about the part of some of it you have to take. So I think it is that mission of differentiating where it's just bad blows and where it is constructive bad blows.
Definitely.
So-
I've become accustomed to kind of just doing, at points in my life, just doing what everyone tells me to do. And that's why this is the advice that I give nowadays, because you kind of lose what you want to do in the end. And
You
you
get
just go, okay, yeah, cool. Okay, yeah, cool. Okay, yeah, cool. And then eventually you end up with something that you don't even know where you started with.
Yeah. Well, I can see that you clearly have, you know, especially with what you said, you know, keeping true to yourself. We can see that that's what you do. It's good advice. I definitely agree with that. And keep your old home videos and keep your old videos and your old songs.
Yeah,
out there for all the
definitely.
artists starting. So what's coming up? What can people look out for apart from the awesome EP launch that's coming? What other projects is coming up?
So after the EP launch, probably gonna be out of studio for a while, hopefully, just to gather some thoughts. But probably a single towards middle end of the year, and then touring, quite a lot of touring. Hopefully
Awesome.
going to Durban. Hopefully at the end of the year. This is hopefully, I don't even know if it's gonna happen, but overseas. Maybe the
especially with
UK.
the album launch.
Yes,
Yeah, definitely.
exactly,
Dream
yeah.
big.
Totally. And that concludes our Q&A part of the interview for today. We have one more section left, as always. Oh, snap.
Yep, it's time for our little 60-second game where guests have to think fast and blurp out the first word that comes to their mind when we give them a word.
Now remember, you can't say pass, you have to answer. If you answer wrong, so meaning you say something irrelevant to the word or were given longer than 3 to 5 seconds to answer, that word falls out and you lose the point. And you are interrupted by an oh snap. So we're going to quickly demonstrate for you.
Okay, fantastic. So it's something like green,
Studio.
water,
Aqua.
toothpaste,
Blue.
Marvel.
No. Iron Man.
Oh, snap!
I almost did that. Yo.
That was a good one.
I just shamed all Marvel in 2 seconds. Cool. Are
Okay.
you ready for
I
us?
am ready. Yo.
Okay,
Also
3,
stressed.
2, 1, go.
Color.
Blue.
Fruit.
A pear.
Cell phone.
iPhone.
Bag.
Nike.
Socks.
Blue.
Flower.
Violet.
Song.
Open spoken.
Marvel.
Spider-Man.
Toothbrush.
Clean teeth.
Clothing brand.
Billabong.
Industry inspiration.
Damon Rice.
Month.
January.
Band.
Radiohead.
Magazine.
You.
Film.
Creed.
Transport.
Bus.
Stage.
Oppie Koppie.
Last meal you had.
Oats.
Musician.
Been out.
2019.
Shit.
Bleep bleep. Water.
Time's up. Awesome. Yeah, no, you did well.
That was a good one.
You did well.
Funny how when someone mentions a year that's still an upcoming future, everyone goes, oh please.
Yeah, you're like just so stressed.
Oh, that's no problem. And that concludes our episode for today. Thank you, Werner, for coming through to the
It's a
studio.
big pleasure. Thank you for having me.
It's been a blast to hear all about your incredible industry journeys that you have and the awesome music. We definitely can't wait to hear more of your music from your upcoming
Bleep.
album.
Bleep.
And we'll definitely be at the launch.
I'm kidding. You can follow his career projects and journey on social media. So tell us, what are your handhelds?
Just Werner Bekker music, and Werner is with a W. It's really hard. I should get a stage name. Bekker is with a double K, Bekker.
So that's
Cool.
Werner, and then Bekker is Bekker.
That's it.
Cool.
Okay, so there you have it.
And don't forget to follow all the exciting things of today's episode on our social media at Let's Talk Showbiz.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us for another fantastic episode of Let's Talk Showbiz right here on Brand Live. Make sure that you tune in every Friday for your dose of the world of entertainment. Next week in studio, we have an awesome guest. Trust me, you don't want to miss it. Keep up to speed with what's hot on our social media daily and weekly. Our quote for the day: music speaks a universal language and is a powerful means of communicating specific messages or complex feelings, quoted by our very own Werner Bekker.
Awesome. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget, it's a good life. Music might be your piece of art or your power tool that goes straight to the stranger's heart and inside. Work hard, mold your craft, live an inspired life, and be ready to inspire anyone. Keep on fighting the good fight. Yee! Cheers, everyone.
Cheers, good guy.
Keep on fighting the good fight. And on WWE SmackDown. And goodbye to our listeners of Let's Talk Showbiz. Bye.
Bye, Felicia.
Live from 27 boxes in the heart of Melville, this is brandlive.co.za.